Hey everybody, welcome to Taystock 2021. And today I would like to welcome Alex Furtado from the LA County Youth Commission. Welcome, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, and if for people who don't know, LA County Youth Commission is pretty new, and I wanted to give Alex a chance to kind of explain what that is. And can you tell our take clients, like, what is the Youth Commission?
Yeah, so the LA County Youth Commission is made up of 15 different commissioners, all assigned to represent different districts. So, for example, I represent District 1, the first district, and the Youth Commission is just, like I said, a wide variety of commissioners who are at that transitional age, so the transitional age youth, and who basically have different experiences in systems. So whether that be, the justice system, the homeless system, foster care system, education system, homeless system, and have those different lived experiences. Their voices are in spaces and definitely elevated to include other youth voices. So it's basically youth, including youth uplifting youth, and youth being there for youth. And that's definitely, I think, at everyone's heart when they think about being a commissioner, is definitely like, how can I really take from the community, what is a youth experiencing that could possibly be worked on, possibly be better, could possibly be fixed. And then we take that and we kind of regulate that and talk about that at a county level.
That's cool, man. And I know some people, some of the youth that we have come through our doors. They remember certain days that I would come and get all dressed up because I was heading from here out to the plant, those planning meetings for the Youth Commission. And I always said, man, this is one of the things I'm most proud just to even be a small part of. It started off with just ton of people in one room. Dr. Sharon from DMH was there, and it was just a really amazing experience. Got to meet a lot of people that were now, I guess, on the Youth Commission as well, and some who aren't, but they were part of the process. And I was just thinking to myself, like, sometimes something gets created and you just think, why wasn't this done sooner? But I'm just glad it's done now, and that the voice of this generation can be amplified through people like yourself. And so I just wanted to say definitely thank you. I started my career working in group homes, and I'm just glad, like, some of the youth that might have been underrepresented now kind of have a voice. So I just wanted to definitely say thank you for everything you're doing, man.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is a privilege, definitely is a privilege to also be in a bunch of the different spaces that I'm in. Not only am I a youth commissioner with the county, but I also work at a service providing agency for for youth experiencing homelessness. Working at LASA, a part of their youth commission, being a board member with the COC. Working with California Youth Connection that specializes and works with foster youth. Having the background that I have, in foster care, myself being incarcerated, myself being homeless at one point, being in the military and being a college student for 2 years, just being able to have that lived experience, I think is really what makes the Youth Commission the Youth Commission, and really giving opportunity for youth to talk about things and to be in places, at a county level, where it really matters, and really talk about it from the experience and the lens that they have. That instead of talking about it with like people about, oh, my social worker this or my social worker that, like, we're actually telling the county, like, hey, like, this is what happened to me, and how do we make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I remember, given that you obviously are very experienced at drop-in centers, and the whole lived experience part of it, that pure specialists and people in that position have, I think has carried a louder voice from my experience than if I say something, because like you said, someone like me might think something works really well in the foster care system, but I'm not the one that lived it. But however, someone who has had that experience could say, well, it's not what you think it is. This is actually what the process really looks like from someone who has to go through it. And I've had situations like that where it could be a room full of professionals, but one person who's been through that explains it, and it has way more impact than a bunch of people who've never been through it talking about it. And so I definitely think that carries weight. And I just wanted to ask, just with the experiences you have across, like you said, you're a board member, you work at a drop-in, and you're part of the youth commission. Can you share a success story with us?
Yeah, I think a success story is definitely, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a success story. Honestly, I think a success story, personally would look like me being an executive director, making 3 to 6 figures somewhere at an organization, right? Like that's success, right? Like that's definitely, like coming from the bottom and then being at the top. But, I mean, honestly, I think you got to celebrate any stride that you take in your life, whether it be small, whether it be big, knowing that one day you're going to get there. It might just take time and it might take a little bit of struggle, but knowing that that struggle that you go through is going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more wiser. It's going to make you more experienced in the long run. But definitely, I think, I mean, a success story was, sorry, excuse me.
It's all
A
right. Forgive
success
me, guy.
story was a success story was definitely the fact that, I mean, I was incarcerated coming back from the military, um, from basic combat training. And, I spent about 14 months incarcerated, and I went to a rehabilitation center. Coming out that rehabilitation center, I knew that I knew that I had 90 days at most, to find a place to live. Knowing that, I probably wasn't gonna get into a sober living, so I needed to look at other options. Family support, friend support wasn't there. So, I was connected to an organization called Safe Place for Youth myself, right? I lived in their shelter. I now work for that organization today as a youth empowerment, development, advocacy, community ambassador. But also not only that, but being in the different spaces that I'm in today, making sure that like my voice is at the table, and knowing that if my voice was taken away, it would make an impact. And I think that is a success story. I think knowing that like your voice matters, um, whether how big or small you may think your voice matters, especially if you go through different systems that critically impact our society. And knowing that, if your voice leaves, it is going to make a difference. Knowing that sometimes you're the first person that people think of, if they want to, maybe do a presentation or ask for input. I think that's a success story. But I think 99% of the time, people coming in to receiving, services, and people experiencing homelessness, like a lot of times we may not see success stories, right? Because, a success story usually happens when like people are no longer in need of services, right? Like usually people come to us in their time in need, whether that be in the foster care system, whether that be incarceration, whether that be, substance abuse, homelessness. A lot of people inherit those services when they're in a time of need. And usually when people are back up off their feet, they're doing a little good. Maybe they got a little job going on. Maybe they're, got some stable housing in their life. A lot of times, they get busy with other things because at that point, like the wheels are going, and we might not see how successful somebody really becomes. But, maybe 3 years later on down the line, we may see them in a meeting or be like, wait, I know this person, they have a history, or they may work for an organization or something like that, so that's definitely, like my success story is knowing that, if my voice were to leave any of the spaces that I'm a part of today, that it's going to impact people. But
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of times, sometimes we can't measure success because, that also might look different for that person.
Yeah, and it could definitely happen way down the line, like you kind of mentioned. Like, you might have an impact on someone right now, but they don't even know it. But then 3 years from now, they might remember something you said, and maybe it resonated unconsciously with them, and it could help them out. And unfortunately, we may not be in a situation to see that, but at least they'll be, you know, they'll be doing better, you know.
All right, thank you. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah,
So
yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, agree with that, because yeah, success can definitely happen later on down the line. Like even if they get housed, those other those other supportive services, they may take time, but definitely success may happen later on down the line. And there's no measuring how successful somebody's gonna be. You know what I mean? That can also be their own person's measure, right? Like that can be like, you know what, one day I'm gonna have a family and I'm gonna be a good father to that family. And I didn't have a good father growing up, but I'm successful now because I have a family and I'm a good father to that family. I might not have a Porsche, I might not have a Ferrari, but I'm a good dad. And to me, I accomplished a goal of mine, and I'm successful because I accomplished that goal.
no, absolutely, because you're right. Success looks different to different people. And it's like you mentioned something about like if someone is homeless and but then suddenly they're able to get into like a transitional housing program or something like that, I would see that as something like they might label that as like success because they might say like, man, I've been on the streets in between different states for this long, and I'm just glad I got my own bed now, but you're right. And other people might be like, no, this I want more, I want to be able to accomplish something more, which is okay. People have different standards, like you said, and I think as long as they're happy, and they can accomplish and they feel accomplished, I think that's really important.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, Alex, if one of our clients is watching this interview right now and they wanted to contact you or the Youth Commission, just about any inquiries they might have, what's the best way to reach out? Oh, I think it's a little frozen right now.
Yeah, I think definitely send me an email. Yeah. How is it now? Is the picture back? Let's try
It's
going
frozen
off
right
camera real
now,
quick. Is
but
the
just for
picture
anyone
back?
listening, um, uh, the information, the contact info for the Youth Commission is going to be listed below. So do check it out. If you have any questions for Alex or for the Youth Commission, we'll be posting a link down below. And so you said email is the best way?
Yeah, so definitely, shooting an email. It's gonna be afurtado@bos.lacounty.gov. And my phone number is 310-384-9316. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think shooting email is the best way. I can't wait for that day where I'm not getting county emails about what we're eating at the cafeteria for lunch today. I'm not even there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I can't wait till that happens and I'm actually getting emails about hey Alex, like I really want to, be a thought partner with you on this, and I have this concern, and what do you think about this? Do you have any ideas about this? Can you talk to one of our clients? Can you do one of this? Those are the emails that I really am going to look forward to, and hopefully see initiatives to submitting them to the board of supervisors. Yeah, but I do also want to say for anyone listening that the vision of the Youth Commission is definitely it's all youth serving systems in Los Angeles County, and it will be informed by and co-designed with the voices of youth with lived experience. And definitely the mission of the Youth Commission is the LA County Youth Commission seeks to help child welfare and juvenile justice systems center youth voice in their efforts to co-design and improve policies, programs, service. Thinking out, I was in a meeting just last night where we're really thinking about, what the next year is going to look like, our strategic plan. So we were strategically planning on really where we're going to go with the Youth Commission, and how productive we can be within the upcoming year.
Yeah, I have a feeling after this video, I have a feeling some of our youth will be reaching out to you because some of them, I feel like over the last few months, years, they found their voice, but I think some of them might just need that spark and to hear from someone who's basically a voice for the community right now, like yourself. So I have a good feeling you are gonna be getting some inquiries. So yeah. And just one final thing, Alex, I wanted to ask before we close up shop here is
Yeah,
if
and
you had to give a piece of advice for a youth that's going through homelessness right now, just what would you say? What tidbit of advice would you give?
I mean, I would say, you know, it's not, I mean, it's not a forever thing. I mean, it may feel like it. I think, if I could do it, you could do it. I know that definitely every circumstance is different because I know it's not. I don't know what you're going through, but I know what I went through. I know that, while if you're experiencing homelessness, try to seek a case manager and try to, whether it be your child, whatever it is, try to get the little bit of stability that you could get, even if it's a sleeping bag. I think the next step would be an internship, maybe a job, definitely if your voice is something that wants to be used. There's definitely a lot of, I think, different organizations that definitely a piece of necessarily mean that there's not enough room for other voices in those spaces.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Great. And Alex, again, I just want to say thank you, man, for taking your time to just agree to this interview. I know you're really, really busy, like you had mentioned before. And like I said, I have a feeling you probably will be getting some people reaching out to you to ask for exactly the advice you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to give it. Whether it's, you just want to have a conversation, you know, or whether you want advice, maybe even a little direction of like, how do I get involved to be in a place that you're in right now? I can definitely tell you it's not whether you think being a youth commissioner or being on the county youth commission is a big title. It's not. It all starts with you, and it definitely doesn't take a lot of work. Just definitely, I think people are also open to hearing what kinds of experiences people go through because it's the only way we're going to get better. Everyone's going to get better. The staff that you're working with to get better, to make sure that they're doing the job that you need them to do. I think all around.
Yeah, 100%, man. All right. So you guys, if you have questions for Alex, please do follow the links below and reach out to him. If you need advice, like I said, you want to follow in similar footsteps, or you just need to hear, a different voice, reach out to him for sure. So thank you, Alex, for taking the time, man.